Good afternoon, Uncle.
Well, Albert, can you allow people to come in, please?
Yes, I'm
Thank
doing
you,
it.
sir. Appreciate it.
Hey, Naptaj.
Hello, sir.
How are you? It's been a while.
Totally good, sir. How do you do?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Excellent, excellent. Give me a few seconds. Check 1, 2, 3. Check 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, we can hear you nice and clear.
Excellent, thank you. So what a day today? Busy day?
Yeah, amazing and productive.
And it went already to Pricewaterhouse, correct?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Well, that's more important than anything else. Tonight we're gonna have also Terry Waldman and something interesting happening. Well, hopefully he'll be able to join us tonight. A lot of good stuff is happening in the market as we speak, though. Peter Coyne is here. Welcome, Peter. Finally, this gentleman has made it.
Yes, how are you, sir?
Excellent. How do you do, sir?
Uh,
How
Nice
do
to
you
hear you.
like it being?
I'm in Calgary right now.
Oh, lovely. How's the weather there?
It's cold, not too bad. my truck is almost ready, and I'll be heading to Indiana, pick up my RV, and then heading back to Toronto, and we'll be starting our little search for real estate.
Excellent. So we are family, right? So we can look into RV.
Yeah, you can come on with me.
Yes,
go.
RV is good.
Yes.
All right. Welcome, Mr. Waldman, Terry Waldman. Welcome. You're going to be starting shortly. Terry, are you there?
He just joined, Uncle.
Okay, all right. We got a lot of fun tonight, a lot of stuff to cover tonight. A lot of good things are happening in the market. Randy, are you on the line right now?
Yes,
And how about David? Is he here?
yes,
Perfect. Okay. So if you feel comfortable, maybe I can allow you to start early. Is that what you like?
yes, please.
Okay. All right. So within about 7:15 or 7:13, I think you'll be on it. You'll be the first speaker then. How are you
Thank
feeling
you.
otherwise? Are you okay?
Oh,
Never cold, sore throat.
Oh
So
no.
David's gonna talk for me.
Okay.
I got you.
perfect. All right.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
David.
Thank you.
David, I'm not gonna. If you can help me,
Mm-hmm.
how to pronounce your last name, that'll be helpful.
Himmelfarb.
Hemophobe. Okay, that's fine. Didn't want to mispronounce it, but I'll stick with David though.
If you mispronounce it, I'll send you an invoice.
Oh, okay, sir. Now we have David Grossman and we have a few other David as well. And it becomes a little bit complicated. Just like when you go to New York, I say, hey, Tony, and everybody turns around. I say, hi, Maria, everybody turns around. Very common name in New York. I will be starting, ladies and gentlemen, very shortly at 7 or 8 p.m. on the dot. We're just giving extra few minutes to serve few people who are in the transit. Welcome to Toronto. And we do have a lot of traffic, and we also have not much of snow, but I guess it's cold out there. So there are a lot of twists and turns coming in 2023. They're coming from every level of government, whether it's a federal, whether it's a CMHC, whether it's a provincial or municipal. And it's going to be a lot of fun to see how these changes are going to affect the real estate market in a very short period of time, especially in the beginning, because anytime that changes comes in, it intend to have some sort of a effect on us, which is all good, but hopefully they'll bring up something good for us, a lot of good stuff, so we can be better investors. So this is the perfect timing, by the way, when the market is going through a transition. Investors intend to do extremely well. Those speculators, those who are only working with the greed, only working with hoping the prices go up, may not going to survive this downturn or any downturns in the past or so on. So they just got burned down quickly. They forget the basics and fundamentals. The moment you start getting away from fundamentals, you will gonna get burned very fast, very quick. But on the other hand, under justification for those speculative investors, they are used to the stock market. They make money, they lose money. They make money, they lose money. So real estate investors are not programmed when they're fully educated. They're trained to make money, no matter which way the market goes. So we're going to have quite a number of specialists tonight here to join us. And I have a lot of information to share with you. And those who would like to have their camera handy or make some notes, that can be very helpful for you. There's a lot of money coming in, by the way, in form of stimulation or handouts. These handouts are given out to investors or real estate investors all the time. And 99% of the investors really use those handouts though. So the market is changing all across Canada. In one way, it's good. So the hardest part is making life very difficult for average Canadian. Very, very difficult. And when life becomes difficult, we all suffer. It has a ripple effect. Just to let you know that when we lose one job, it affects up to 12 different families in Canada. And we are now a global family, so everything affects everything. So we're going to be starting in 2 more minutes. Once I get okay from my team here, just say, go ahead, I'm ready to rock and roll. And we are going to bring our guest speakers and a lot to share with you. Those who would like to share anything, if you want to introduce yourself, please go ahead. Introduce yourself if you like, and feel free to put your name and phone number, as a matter of fact, just like the Randy Goodman did already. Thank you. And we also have Terry Waldman, direct message. Okay. All right, sir. So this is going to be fun time. It reminds me about the same time that we had many years ago. And that was 89. Well, we haven't gone through several of these ups and downs in the last many, many years. Some areas are affected only by province, and some are affected all across Canada. So Vladimir, sir, if you don't mind, allow people in. Thank you.
I am.
Perfect. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Canadian Real Estate Investor Seminar, or sorry, it's a trade. Okay, it is networking meeting tonight. We have been holding this meeting since April 2005, every month, no matter what. And our intention is to share information and create knowledge, connect with fellow people, and keep you updated with what's happening in the market. We're going to have several guest speakers here tonight to share their knowledge and wisdom. And there we go. More or less, Canada is simply a platform which we do not sell any properties or mortgages. We are neutral, and we offer the platform for investors all across Canada, though. So, why join Real Estate Club? If you are not a member yet, you should become one. It's barely minimum fee, and this is something we always talk about. This is a lot of realtors, a lot of real estate investors make a biggest mistake, not doing their due diligence. And when they do not get the opinion from experts, then they get burned so badly. And this is the case all across Canada, and I see it all the time. People lose so much money thinking that, hey, this is not important. To me, the way I look at it, due diligence is the key element. There was an article written about me in about 2009 in Global Mail. But another thing, what's happening right now, which you're going to see a lot of it in next 3 to 5 years or 7 years, or God knows how long it's going to be, a lot of foreclosures and power sales. We are very fortunate to have a good friend of mine online here today, Terry Wallman. He's an attorney, he's a lawyer, who is a mortgage enforcer, and he also is a lender. So he will be doing a lot of power sales. And this is part of the equation, I guess, in when the market goes up and down, this thing happened. This was an article, it was paid by me to write in the Toronto Star about a story. How did we help people in trouble though? It was paid by us. So your network is net worth, and we will have a schedule for next year meeting. Good news is next year we're going to be doing at least 2 or 3 networking meetings in person, and hopefully we're going to have some sort of a brunch in person. We'll still maintain a lot of these meetings online, but when these things are live in Toronto, it will be with a brunch or something, so we're going to have all something to share with them. So what is happening in the market? Buyers are what? Are afraid to kind of say, is it the bottom? Is that a bottom yet? Is that a bottom yet? Is the price going to fall further? We do not know yet. No matter what we say, but we do not know that. Here is the headlines that intend to send a different message all across Canada. What does the headline say? The headline says, oh, Toronto real estate prices are down by 245,000. Okay, is that a good news? Oh, the prices are down by 130,000 in Vancouver. And the Canadian real estate prices are falling fastest in the G7 countries. So these are the headlines which intend to scare people off. But here's a good part. For investors, perfect time. We pick up the deals we like, owner financing, and we go for, the word is called stinky bids, stinky offers. Is anybody familiar with the word stinky offer or stinky bid? You're welcome to talk if you like. If not, I have a video on it. More than happy to share with you. And this is one of the same old strategy when the market slows down though. So here is something happening, just to give you a reflection, what exactly is happening in the market. This piece of property on Pennycross Crescent in Brampton is a street townhouse. It sold in July 2019 for $704,000. It's 19. In 2021, September, sold for 1.1, approximately 200,000 more. Then it got sold again for 1.26, which is approximately about 100,000 at least. And guess what? It came down just got sold on December 5th for $919. Still not bad compared to 2019 prices, but it's pretty bad compared to 2021 prices though. And the property got sold in September and property got sold in December. Here is something I want you to think about it. Canada Revenue Agency is going to be looking into this transaction very carefully. Not to the first buyer, because he bought in 2019. He lived in the property for 2 years. So for them, if it is not rental, if it is a principal residence, they get to keep all the money. If it was rental, then they might be paying some taxes. But the other 2 transactions which happened in September 21 and December 21, that could be questionable, as well as on December 5th. So this is something which is the fun part of it. So you better get used to it. You are required by law in Canada that you are supposed to disclose on your personal return if you bought and sold any property. under your name. If it is corporation, that's a different ballgame. So again, we're gonna have more and more scrutiny when it comes to real estate. How do we report over our income? Is it a business or is it a capital gains? This is the house prices, what they're expecting 2023, just a bit of an idea that 2019, 2021, 2022 was good. After February or March 2nd, the prices start declining altogether. We have 7 increases in the prime rate or Bank of Canada's bank rate. So here is a good news. If you are a renter, or if you happen to be a landlord, your renter can get a $500 check. It is for those Canadians who are low income. It's only one-time deal starting yesterday, December 12th till March 31st. This money is coming from the CMHC, which is Canada, is a Crown Corporation. Just thought you should be aware of it. Canada.ca/for1-time-housing-benefit. Please take a picture of this one. It can save $500 for your tenant. It'll be a great Christmas gift. If you agree, just say yes in the chat. So I like the $500 check. Hey, it's always good. You are welcome to say it regardless. Moving forward, here's another thing coming up in Toronto. Vacant home taxes in 2023. If you have a house which is sitting vacant and you don't respond to it, there's a fine of $250. You are supposed to apply by February 2nd, 2023. You might have gotten notices, and the taxes are going to be exactly the same. And Vancouver is 1%. If you own a piece of property sitting empty for 6 months, expect a $10,000 vacant tax from the city of Toronto. This is GTA, by the way. I'm not too sure if it is going to be extended to region of Peel or Durham. Please check with your municipalities. For all purposes, if you want to check it out, it's toronto.ca. Just Google it, and you will find services-payments/property tax utilities, and again, vacant home taxes. So this is another shocker for some people, because if you're renovating it, that's totally different ballgame, but just be aware of it. This is the tweet by the city of Toronto. In case you want to check it out, toronto.ca vacant home tax. That's the website as well. This is something else Government of Canada tried to show you. They're putting more money in your pocket. If you have 2 children, you might be getting an extra for $200 and I believe $225 or $232 more in your GST or HST, by the way. This is something government intend to kind of lure you. Hey, this is the money. If you didn't get it, check it out. Make sure you get it. If you have 2 kids, why not? So moving forward, contract versus contract. If you're not a member, please become a member. It's only $349 plus HST. We don't make money on this thing. It's barely pay its expenses. Where we make the most money is your connection, your presence, doing deals with you, doing joint ventures with you. This is what it's all about. So if you do not have a newsletter, flippingforprofit.ca/for newsletter, please subscribe to it. It'll be very helpful hints for you. We do not send too much stuff. I'm going to go quickly to my special guest here, where we're going to be talking about real estate quickly. Just I mentioned earlier, I'm going to talk in a second. Let's talk about quickly. The housing, we talk about provincial, federal, municipal, crown corporations, and these are the new ideas going to come in. Hopefully, it's going to become law. And in Toronto area, you can turn your single family into multi-unit once you get approval. It'll be much easier. And Doug Ford is pushing for it. John Tory, the mayor of Toronto, is pushing for it. So is the federal. But again, just be aware of it and make sure you do everything with the proper building permit though. This is a very unfortunate part of it. What is happening to our condo market? People who have bought the condos in 2019 are unable to get a mortgage. As a matter of fact, the appraisals are coming lower than what they paid for it. So these are underwater properties, high interest rate, and there are about 31,000 condos gonna become ready in 2023. 19,000 of them shall be ready by the first 6 months of 2023. So there is gonna be, we will see as the time goes along. In my opinion, there's gonna be a surplus of inventory of brand new condos. And I do believe from somewhere 15 to 25% of the condo buyers who bought the pre-construction condo might be defaulting. Why? If they paid 500,000, the property may not be coming as a appraisal value. And the higher interest rate may be putting them in a situation where the banks are saying no to them. And they might have to go to private lenders where they might be paying somewhere from 7 to 10% interest rate, which may or may not gonna make sense. And they may be better to walk away or file a bankruptcy or whatever. So this is an opportunity for us in one way, but that's the reality of real life though. So as we go along, we'll keep you updated. Underbidding, overbidding, this is happening. There are some properties, people are pricing it low, way too late to get overbidding. And 90% of the properties are going for less than 10% asking price though. This is more or less the current market is as we speak though. This is Trevor Reports, and I'm going to bring our guest speaker, and she's my sister. She's not feeling well. I wish you, I spoke to her earlier. She's on the line. Today, our Randy Goodman, instead of speaking herself, she's the 10 times #1 international best-selling author. Today, her son, David, is going to be taking place. David, are you there, my friend?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, sir. It's all yours. Turn the camera on, my friend.
Camera is on. Nice to meet everybody.
Excellent.
I will be filling in for Randy, so please bear with me. I'm just going to cover some do's and don'ts of some common things that to know to get into the market, real estate investing, and also cover a couple benefits that you might not be able to benefit from yourself, or maybe you know somebody like Navtaj said, maybe your tenant could benefit from it and they'll love you forever. So a couple of the do's and don'ts to start off the top. Obviously, being realistic with your timeframes, unless it's a flip job, you want to be. It's an excellent strategy, of course, to get into real estate, but you got to be prepared for the highs and especially the lows. Like right now, it may be a good opportunity to get in, but if you're holding now and you don't get called and you can afford to hold the property, it's just another thing to be keeping in mind that you need to hold through the highs and the lows. Obviously, another one is doing research on properties, market comparables in the area. When you're buying a property, you need to obviously know how's the neighborhood? Is it a safe location? What's the average tax bracket in the area? What are the community scores? Some rents may be higher than others. So, you need to do some sleuthing to get the best deal. And of course, that's where a realtor comes in who'd be happy to get you that information and do the market analysis for you, just like Randy Goodman. And obviously, do not be trusting sellers' advertisements online. You got to do your own due diligence. Like Navtaj said, if you're going to be doing a tear down, maybe an inspection isn't necessary, but you need to be keeping all these considerations on what kind of conditions you might need on a particular property. And so not putting all of your eggs in one basket. You don't want to be investing into one asset. Yeah, as long as you have the financial means, you may want to put your money into different assets and spread it so that when your rental property is not doing so well, or maybe if you have a long-term tenant and you're dealing with an eviction, you want to make sure that your other investments have some chance of performing a lot better than that one that's not working out at the time. Another one, keeping an emergency fund, of course, especially if you're going for a cheaper property that may require some renovations, or that you're going with that long-term tenant, having the emergency fund there to think about, worst case scenario, am I prepared? Giving yourself a plan B to fall back on. And going back to your tenants is not overlooking their needs. So the type of property.
All of you.
Oh.
We also welcome all the parents.
Sorry.
Sports
Looks like I
improve
got
our competence, brings into life top level brilliance. Sports bring out our mettle, give strength to face life battles.
Sports are the key to self-reliance, way to accept mistakes,
without defiance. Sports illuminates team spirit, inculcates in
Can the
students this
moderator
noble habit.
mute that person?
Sports make a boy
ज़्यादा
a
मिसाल जानी
man,
है ना?
builds his strength 10 on 10. A very
David, continue, my friend.
Thank you. A little bit of an interruption there. Going back to your tenants' needs, obviously, when you're purchasing a place, you want to keep in mind, is it family oriented or is it individual, young person oriented? Do you want to be surrounded by schools or do you want to be close to transit? Do you want to have the nightlife in the area, knowing what kind of tenants' needs that you're going to be suiting to your property as well? Another one as well is not underestimating your expenses when getting into a property. It's not just the mortgage that you're going to be paying for. You're going to be paying for the property taxes. You're going to be paying for the insurance. Like I mentioned with the emergency fund, you don't know what kind of upkeep that you're going to need to replace the appliances, the roof, structural changes that may be required. So you cannot underestimate the expenses and you can't be conservative about your costing. And of course, if you're going for a flipping property, you do not want to be you obviously want to be thinking about what the after repair value would be, which is, again, going back to a market analysis of what a property would look like after you've put the work into it. If it is a fix and flip, what the cost of materials are, forecasting your loans and your holding costs, and keeping all these things in mind when you're thinking about what
Shakespeare house.
All houses, standard is attention. Standard is
here's
Oh,
something.
boy. Just
attention.
give me 1 second, please. Let's see if
Standard is
we can find who this person is.
Yeah.
standard is attention. Quick march past start.
Here, the march past begins. Line in front, marching. These things are called for school, holding a school flag. Followed by Aristotle House, led by Captain Arthur D. Ford and Vice Captain Samuel Singh. The students of this house are dressed in red color. It is followed by Einstein House, led by Captain Arthur Singh, holding their house flag, which is yellow with colors, and Vice Captain Robert P. Ford. Next house is the Lilio House, led by Captain Gagan Singh and Vice Captain Sanjog Garewal. The captain is moving to the flag of their house. Now, at your side, raise this flag.
I'm still hearing it.
Oh my gosh, it is pretty loud and I'm not sure exactly. Vladimir, if you can help me here.
I mute all of them, and for some reason it's keep going. It can be on back of your computer. Maybe it doesn't.
There's nothing. I just try to check everything on my thing.
Action, passion, courage, activity, love, and joy. This house
there's anything,
is named
anybody
after
knows how
a
to
great
put this thing to fire, that'll be helpful.
Aristotle.
Hi, yes, you cannot mute
Yellow
everyone.
is the color of sunshine, hope,
Right.
and happiness. It gives you confidence. This house is named after a great scientist, Albert
Interesting enough to
Einstein.
mute all of you guys, and for some
Blue
reason
color
it's
indicates freedom, imagination, inspiration, wisdom, confidence, and
Maybe we should all
intelligence.
sign back
This
again.
house
Is that
is
a
named
possibility?
after an Italian astronomer and physicist, Galileo Galilei. The green color is associated with growth, harmony, sincerity, freshness, safety, and nature. This house is named after
Oh, boy.
a great playwright, poet,
look like
and
inspiration video. Somebody put it on.
I wonder if it is running in the background in the music. Maybe they're not even aware of it.
Marching in a contingent demands alertness and an unspoken coordination. The drum beat rolls, the band strikes up, and the high-pitched voice issues a command. The synchronized swings of the arms and the sound of thudding feet to stir something within us.
This is absolutely, it's totally annoying though.
All the students is well synchronized and organized.
Maybe we can all sign back in
They are marching
now.
with full
No, that's gonna be a little
and
difficult.
determination.
Let's see if we can find one.
Now, when you go to the chat room, the background
The
music
ground is
stops,
looking so
becomes soft.
colorful.
I don't know if that helps.
Mute, hold on.
You're right, but everybody is mute. Oh.
Okay, here it disappeared. David, continue, please.
Yes, let's see if we can get through.
Okay,
Lastly, on my do's and don'ts, you want to talk to somebody who owns investment property already, and one of the best ways to educate yourself is to speak with someone who's already faced these challenges. And new real estate investors are often surprised with how much work being a landlord can be. And what better way to speak with a real estate investor than Navtaj himself, where you can find a mentor or you can hire him as your coach. So that's an excellent way of getting somebody who's been familiar with this industry already. And I just want to go over two more benefits, and then I'll let you guys continue on. One Navtaj did highlight already, which was the Canada Housing Benefit. It is that $500 credit. I'll put a link in the chat if you want to check it out. Now, it is only eligible for people that have income under 20,000, which is for yourself, or if your family adjusted net income is 35,000. So a lot of people won't qualify for it, and it's 30% of your net income has to be rent. But one that people may not know about is there's actually a Ontario Trillium benefit, which we all know there's a sales credit, but there is a Trillium benefit for rent and also for property tax. I'll put a link.
With the true
Oh,
spirit of
and there
fair
it is
play,
again. I'll put a link in the chat,
and
and
will
this
not
one.
indulge in
And will not indulge in
doping, cheating, or any form of discrimination.
seems like a church group or something.
Thank you, Dharamchand
Yeah, it's not
Singh.
even someone in here who's
Taken
always muted.
solemnly.
It must be one of those hack things for a Zoom meeting.
Now it's the time to light the flame, which ignites the passion of sporting spirit. The flame represents the light of spirit, knowledge, and life.
Oh boy. Are we gonna have some fun here tonight? All right, David, are you done? Or you still have something more to add?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to throw those two benefits in there.
Sure, go ahead, please.
I put them in there. The Trillium benefit is the one that people might qualify for more. So if people would like to check them out.
Excellent, thank you. Anything else you'd like to add?
I believe we've tackled all the bases. Hopefully Randy doesn't beat me later.
All right. Anybody
Thank
got a
you.
question
Great
for
job.
David? Anybody got a question for David? All right, thank you very much, Randy. I hope you're feeling much better now. Get well soon, my friend. We need you. And now we're gonna bring David Grossman. Are you there, David?
Yes, hi, I'm here.
Okay, just give me 1 second before I bring you in here.
I had a question. Is David Himmelfarb also a real estate agent? Or is he?
I am an agent, but I'm not really active. I did get my license a few years ago, but I'm just more of an assistant role right now.
Okay, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, fellow David.
All right,
Thank
sir.
you.
So just to let you know what's happening, interest rate, by the way, interest rate in August 81, when I got started the business, was 22.75% or 22.46%. But this is where we started the business in real estate. Right now, the interest rates are not bad. So these are the 7 changes happened in 2022. How the interest rate went from 0.25 all the way to 4.25. But again, hey, we are investors. We have most of the time have invested money at 13, 12, 13% most of life. But again, if those who are brand new, it may be a little too much for them. But this current mortgage prime rate is 6.45%. They're going to be lightening more about it. I'm going to suggest them, hey, change the amortization period to 40 years. That could help a lot of Canadians, by the way. And here I'm going to bring David. David, all yours, my friend. You have to,
It's not possible to, I mean, it's so loud. I'm talking over this it's not possible for us all to log out and log back in. I mean, I think we've been hacked. That's what I think.
all right.
I think
If
we've been
if
hacked.
it's okay with everybody, please log in and log out. That'll be helpful.
Okay, so we'll come right back.
Yes,
I don't
thank you.
know.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, right.
Everybody, please log out and log in again. Thank you.
Finally, the chain of handing over the torch goes over to Parneet Singh and Dhruv Singh of class +1 to keep it in its place. Audience, please clap for them. Flame of peace and harmony is now lit in our school premises to remove the dark
Doesn't help, Anku.
For those of you who are on your phone, if you go to the screen that shows just the participants, you don't actually hear it.
And what if you're on your computer? Well, it's quiet right now, so I'll make a
All right.
run for it. How's that?
All right, let's go for it.
All right. Okay. So, yeah, as you mentioned, everybody knows that mortgage rates are going up, and
Mrs. Gurpreet Kaur, Vice Principal, Mrs. Manjeet Kaur, MD of our school, Mrs. Sonia Dhawan, DPs of our school, Mr. Kulwinder Singh, and
I think it's
Mrs.
somebody's
Sarita
phone, though.
Vig. Our honorable chief guest, Mr. Sunil Jaggi, Mrs. Divya Jaggi, Mr. Gurveer Singh Shani, Mr. Sandeep Singh.
pretty disruptive. Navtaj, you want me to try and talk over this? I don't know if people
Yeah,
are gonna
talk
be
over
able
it, my friend. That's
For
all.
the
We're gonna be louder than them. How's that?
hosting ceremony.
All right, let's give it a try. So basically, I'll keep it brief.
Can you
Navtaj,
time out?
go ahead, sir.
If we go for view options on the top on the computer, and then it says mute Navta Chandok shared sound. If we mute that, then it turns that off.
Okay,
That's
run
good
by
work.
me one more time.
Okay, on the top of the
Students, please
screen
get
there
ready
says
for
view
national anthem.
options. If you open that window and
Right.
it says mute Navta Chandok shared sound. It's somewhere that sound got shared.
Where is that? I don't see it.
That worked for me too. Yeah, so you see view options are at the top.
Option right on the top of the screen. If you open that window up, there's an arrow going down. If you open it up and it says mute Navta Chandok shared sound. If you check that out, it turned that off. Somehow we got shared with that school something, whatever it is.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So hopefully people can figure that out. I'll proceed now. Thanks for that.
It stops for me, so it's actually working. If somebody has this noise, like Nick says, go to view option. It's on your top right side, and says where it's mute Navtash Chandoki computer sound, and you just put the mark on it, and you
Students,
can hear
please settle
Navtash,
down.
but not background noise.
Yeah, it worked for me.
So the balloons are
Yeah,
now
me too.
released high in the sky.
Awesome, that works.
It worked for me too.
But Navtash, you are mute now.
No,
Where is Navta?
you can
Hear
use
the
this
noise?
one. Clear the noise. We can hear
We're
you
good.
too. We
All
can
right.
hear you. It's
David?
just the background music for some reason we got
Let's
it.
go then show that we are
Okay.
energetic
Hear the
students
sound.
of
All right,
Trinity
go.
School
All right.
and show our tip
Okay,
to do
very
energy
good.
to
So,
everyone.
as everybody knows, mortgage rates keep going up. There's a reasonable chance that they might go up even further in towards the end of January. Of course, we don't know yet. Depends on what happens with inflation. Some reports are saying it's starting to starting to slow it down. It takes a while for all these rate increases to kick in. Bank of Canada says it can take a year. So whether they've already overshot or not, only time will tell. Not one of the things we control. So what can we control? If your mortgage payment has gone up, Navtaj alluded to the 40-year amortization. If your mortgage payment has come up, has increased, or if you know people whose mortgage payment has gone up and it's out of control and it's getting to a point where you're having difficulty making ends meet, talk to your lender. Talk to your lender and see what if they will do something. One of the insurers, Sagan issued a release in the last week. They sent it out to all the lenders. So some mortgages, most people know and understand that if you buy a property with 20% down, or sorry, with less than 20% down, your mortgage is going to be insured by one of the insurers. Sagan is one of the insurers. CMHC is one of the insurers. If you're in a situation where there's been a change in your circumstance, especially, let's say somebody in the house lost a job or something like that, in addition to the fact that your mortgage payments are going up, either because they're going up gradually, or maybe your mortgage has matured and you borrowed money at a low rate, and now you're looking at renewing at a high rate. There are things that can be done. First of all, we have a lender who's got a switch HELOC product. So a switch is when you take an existing mortgage that's been registered, you move it over to an institution. Oftentimes, the lender who you're moving it to will cover any legals, and you can change the way that mortgage is structured. You can change part of it or all of it into a HELOC. Okay, home equity line of credit. Now, your interest rate might actually go up, because with the HELOCs, most of them are at prime plus 0.5%. However, they will, most of them give you the ability to just make interest-only payments. So certainly not going to help you pay your mortgage down faster, but if you're in a situation where you're having trouble making ends meet, that is an option. And another option, which I would encourage you to do, is to talk to your lender, because what some people don't know is that some of the lenders out there will insure your mortgage on the back end. So even though you have more than 20% down, that mortgage might be insured by Sagan or one of the insurers. And even if it's not, good idea to talk to your lender to see if they will do something to lengthen the amortization or give you some kind of a break, because the last thing you want to be doing is missing mortgage payments. You want to avoid missing any of your payments, otherwise it'll mess up your credit, but certainly your mortgage payments you don't want to miss. If you've got a problem, you need to take action in order to ensure you don't miss mortgage payments. And that's really about all I have today. I don't know if there's any questions.
David, I got a few questions for you.
Sure.
I'm going to ask Terry. Terry, are you on the line here, my friend? All right. Here's my question for you. I got a few people who just kind of don't want to talk directly to you. They mentioned the fact, hey, listen, I don't qualify for the brand new condo I bought, and appraised value is a lot less than what I paid for it. Would you suggest them to do the cross collateral with their principal residence to get a better rate or better mortgage, or have a combination of both?
Well, I mean, you've got, when you're in trouble, you got to explore all options. And, breaking a contract, if you're required to close at a certain price, and that lender, the seller, if you default, if you do not close on the property, and the seller takes a loss, they could sue you for their loss. So you need to look at what can be done to close the transaction. And if you do have equity in another property, then you may want to tap into that equity in order to close. So, certainly talk to the seller, see what can be done, and talk to a lawyer as well, because I had a case like that recently where there was somebody who actually bought a couple of properties, and they were assuming that property values were just going to keep going up, and that they were going to use the increase from one to close on the other with no cash. So they're having a conversation with a lawyer to see if there's anything that can be done, but all options should be explored. And if you have a way to potentially close because you have equity in another property, certainly take a look at the option. Will help you find the best possible mortgage scenario.
The next question I got for you, this is very important. Everybody is asking me a question, similar. I ask you to call you directly. Are the banks and the private lenders are easily negotiable to extend the amortization period from 25 to 40 or 35 years?
I don't think it's something that they will easily do, because many of them don't offer a 40-year amortization product, but many of them do have. Many of the lenders have a HELOC product, which is a way to keep your payments down. So by having, if you can do like a mix and match, you can have part of your mortgage at a 25 or 30-year amortization, and some of it on a HELOC at interest only, and then effectively your amortization may be 40 years if you structure it that way, as a way of keeping your payment down.
I'm going to ask you a final question. Last 7 to 10 days or last 30 days, what are the most difficult question people ask you, or what are the most difficult mortgage you end up doing it?
Well, it's mainly has to do with people not being able to close. That seems to be the most common problem that people have. And, as I mentioned earlier, they need to explore all options, talk to the seller, see, if the seller is willing to extend. If prices have dropped significantly, the seller will likely work with you if it means that they're going to be able to sell it to you for that original price. If you need a little bit more time, so keep the communication open with the seller. Speak to a good mortgage broker. Speak to a lawyer. Find out what are the implications if you don't close. And we'll help you find the money if you've got equity in another property. So that seems to be the most common problem that people are having, has to do with property values coming in lower than what they paid for them.
All right, thank you, David. Anybody got a question for David Grossman, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, he could be in the chat. His number is directly 416-876-2031 in case you're on the phone. David at rockyourmortgage.ca, that is website. David, rockyourmortgage.ca is website. David at rockyourmortgage.ca is the web email. And want to say thank you very much, David, once again. Appreciate it. Now we're going to bring our next guest speaker before anything else. And that we all do not like. The one part, the taxes. And this is something where we feel like, hey, a lot of money is taken away from us if you do not plan. There are two ways of looking at it. Number one, if you're going to have anything you want to do to save your taxes, you need to have tax plan ahead of the time, not at the minute of filing your income tax return. By saying so, I'm going to bring our guest speaker, where people don't realize it, that how much taxes do we pay? What does an average Canadian family pay of the income? 43%. Yike. More money than we spend on the food.
Are requested to get ready.
So by doing so, this is something about, we always talk about it, separating the dogs from the sleeping giants. And this is something I will not go much further than I'm going to bring our guest speaker here. A qualified advisor is going to help separate a sleeping giant from the dogs. I'm sure some of you have heard this terminology before, and it's very interesting to bring our special guest speaker here about the taxes. Jerry, are you there on the line, my friend?
I'm here, Nav.
Excellent. So sleeping giant versus dogs.
Well, you hit the nail on the head. We pay way too much taxes, no doubt. And we have yet another tax season coming around the corner. So I'm just going to go over a bunch of this year. Some of them are non-real estate related, and then I'll touch on, which I'll start with, and then I will touch on some of the more real estate tax changes that are coming. So the non-real estate change. Sorry?
May I request, yeah, please, if you can speak a little louder or close to the mic, that'll be helpful because of the background noises though.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Okay, so some tax changes that are coming up, they're not real estate related. COVID-19, okay, this is going to be the year that they start, people are going to start getting tax slips. Probably unknown to them that they might have collected COVID benefits and not realize they were non-taxable. So that's coming at us. So be prepared for that. Don't forget to claim up to $500 for work at home expenses. That does not have to be receipted. So that's a continuance from last year. That's important. The basic personal exemption has increased up to $14,500. Okay, that's important in our tax planning. Every person is eligible for a basic exemption. We always try to reduce the tax on overall family members. So if there's children that can qualify to work for parents' corporations, we can pay these kids almost $15,000 now without paying income tax, as long as it's a reasonable expense. So those things are new. Canada pension, another increase. Those of you that have heard me speak know how much I dislike Canada pension. Dare I say it, probably one of the biggest ripoffs out there was CRA and then the government. And I say that for the reason that for your entire life, you put money into your very own Canada pension plan, money that has come off of your payroll, your paycheck. And it just happened to me recently that my 64-year-old friend died before he collected 1 penny of Canada pension, and CRA took all his money except for $2,500. I do not like Canada pension, and the fact that they've increased it again, as I've said on many of my webinars and seminars, all the more reason to look at paying yourself by dividends, because then we're not paying the Canada pension. For this upcoming year, if you make $50,000 approximately net income, you're going to pay well over $6,000 in Canada pension. So try to avoid that. There's strategies that we can use to avoid that. Another thing they're bringing back, children's sports and arts tax credit. So that was there, I think the last 3 years they discontinued it. It's coming back. You get a $500 credit for your kids. Register in sports, a bunch of tax credits to renovate your homes. If you're seniors, for better accommodation to stay in home. Those things are coming up. If you've gone traveling in the last year, you get to claim a credit for your travel. So don't forget about that. That's a new one. Now that's kind of the non-real estate. As far as real estate things that we need to look forward to for this upcoming year, remember the principal residence exemption. It's been there forever, but a few years back they required us to actually report the sale of our principal residence on the tax return in order to qualify for that exemption. So if you sold your house that you live in, make sure it gets reported on your tax return this year. The new thing that came out in the recent budget, the 12-month flip. Okay, if you buy a house and you sell it within 12 months, they're going to presume it's taxable unless there's different criteria that would disqualify that transaction from being taxable, such as a new job, you had to move away, more kids, you needed a bigger house, a divorce, you had to leave. So not all of the 12-month flips are taxable, but certainly for the flippers, most of them are pretty obvious. Lots of us are real estate investors. Lots of us, Nav is the king of flipping. They're going to catch us on these flips as far as whether it's capital gains or straight income. But that's not a bad thing. Okay, here's why it's not a bad thing. Because if they say it's a flip, as far as income, again, we're going to try to exempt it, obviously, for any of the conditions. But they've just confirmed with us now that it's active income. Okay, as I mentioned before, in a corporation, active income attracts that I do for clients really is based around utilizing as much of that 12% tax rate in a corporation up to $500,000. We only pay 12% tax. So the 12-month flip, be careful. Try to use some of those exemptions if we can to avoid paying the tax on it. Assignments. Okay, the last budget has picked on assignments. You assign a deal and it's strict business income too. Plus, they say it's HST taxable. We're still trying to get some clarification. Still to this day, we still don't know if that is HST taxable from day one, from the first dollar earned, or do we have to hit that $30,000 level before it's HST taxable? Still don't know the answer to that one. But again, as far as the assignments being business income, again, not the end of the world, because we get to channel that into a corporation and pay only 12% tax. Pre-construction, yeah, that's boy, that's a concerning. Lots of people have made a lot of money on pre-construction, and when it works good, it's great. You only have to put a little amount of money down, your house the value goes through the roof. So the return on your cash invested is astronomical, certainly in the past. Today, it's a different world. Now we're looking at people who lose money on these pre-constructions. From a tax point of view, if there's any silver lining, the losses, if they're going to make us claim the income as normal business income, well, they got to give us the same treatment on the losses, that it be normal, what we call non-capital losses. So if you're in that situation, if you lose money, we can categorize it as a non-capital loss and we can apply it against other income. So that's not a bad thing as far as some silver lining for pre-construction losses. But I certainly sympathize with those people that are in situations where they just simply cannot close. The interest rates have shot up. And my good friend David says we might even have another one. God, I thought we had the last one. Sooner or later it turns around. It's, I mean, again, on the interest rate front, I mean, I'm not saying it's good news, but the way I look at it, I mean, most of my real estate investing is really geared to more cash flow investing, more so than fix and flips or anything else, more cash flow. So multi-unit, where we rely on rent to drive our income and business models. With all this stuff going up, with all the interest rates, with everything going up, it's only going to increase rent. Sooner or later, that flows through our system and we find the rents go up. I know they've gone up a lot in the last year. Those of you that know me know I'm very bullish in Alberta, where the rents are still very reasonable. I see those rents just continuing to go up. So when we build business models geared towards rental income, I see a little bit of positive in all this bad news as far as the interest rates and everything going up. I think it was Nav that touched on the vacant home tax. Just got mine in the mail last week. I was shocked. Okay, I live in Toronto. I get a letter basically saying you got to fill out this form. And if you don't fill out this form, we're just going to arbitrarily assess you a big penalty and assessment and tax. And it's like, oh my God, Unbelievable how they're sending this to us. So beware of those things. If you live in Toronto, I think it was Nav said, I'm not sure either if it goes into other municipalities, but certainly in the GTA, they're all over us and we have to, be compliant for that. So anyway, that's most of the stuff. So nothing really too overly exciting as far as what's coming up new. What's this? Probably a chance another. Geez, David, come on. Don't you have enough power in there to shut them down? I mean, that's crazy, the interest rates. But anyway, it is what it is. Yeah, other than that, just that's the tax changes that are coming at us. Again, if I can summarize this, all our tax planning is geared around trying to utilize that 12% corporate tax rate, using rental management companies to offset your net rent income to characterize, we call it recharacterize the income into income that qualifies for that 12% tax bracket. But anyway, that's just a little tidbit of stuff that's coming at us this tax season. So Matt, once again, thanks a lot for allowing me to speak, and thanks for doing what you do for all of us here.
Excellent. Jerry, thank you very much once again, my friend. Let's give a big hand to Jerry, please. I know we are not physically, but we can do it otherwise, though. Jerry, there are a couple of questions I would like to ask, and maybe people can ask him directly. And some of you would like to have a direct meeting with him, or keep it confidential, keep it private. Those who are paying capital gains must contact Jerry. It will be blessing. It'll be a gift from me and gift from Jerry to all of you. If you are paying capital gains, Jerry can show you legally, morally, and ethically what to do, how to do it. Second thing, I have written, I did a little video after a long time about anti-flipping taxes of 2023, which will be implemented as of January 1st. If you haven't seen the video, please see it or talk to Jerry directly. It's extremely important. What is it all about? And again, these things are coming up, and now there are a few new laws came in 2023. They're coming from federal, provincial, municipal, crown corporations. I'm going to be sharing with you shortly as we go along, though. So far, it seems like the music behind has died down, I do believe, and we can all hear loud and clear.
Yes.
If you got any question, you're going to be asking our experts in the break rooms. What I'd like to do today is, just for a change, we're going to go into break rooms quickly, so everybody have about, let's say, 10 minutes time to chat with each other, introduce yourself, who you are, what you're looking for, and how can we help you. And we're going to come back to the main meeting. Instead of taking a break right now, we're going to go into break rooms, and you're going to have two different rooms. There will be about 20 people in each room. And please feel free, everybody get a chance to speak to each other. Would that be helpful? Let's take a quick break, and we're going to be going into a break rooms only. And this is going to be helpful for you to communicate. The only request I have for you, please turn your camera on. Thank you. Here you go. All right, are we all back here?
I don't think everybody's here yet, but we're slowly starting to.
Looks like you've joined our group.
Okay, no, I think it's all groups are back into.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Now, I have no idea what I've done, but I've done something. Can everybody see the screen now?
Not yet.
Yep, you're up.
See the screen now.
Okay. Anybody can see the screen or not really?
Personally,
I can see.
And no stupid background noise this time.
Okay, but what do you see in the screen though?
You.
Okay, no, it
just
should be.
team.
Okay, I don't know. I think I'm not sure if I'm
Vladimir now.
logged. Sorry?
I saw Vladimir, now you're back on.
Okay, I think I want to show the screen as I can't find the thing to share. Okay, maybe I did something right or wrong.
I see everybody on the screen.
Okay. Not too sure what I'm doing right, but I think that's the point. Is anybody able to see what's on screen now or not really?
We see each
Nope.
other, like our team, and we don't see your presentation, Uncle.
You cannot see it. All right. Does that mean I have to log in again?
I wouldn't do this because you're doing this live on YouTube.
Right.
Maybe you just continue and we're gonna see each other and you're just gonna talk on background.
All right. Well, I'm just going to talk about quickly a few things. I'm going to skip some of them, but if we get into this, then I'll get back to in this one. A couple of things I want to bring your attention to. Number one is the power sales. As we speak right now, if you can, I'm not sure if you're able to see me or not. Let's see.
Yes, now we can see you.
Perfect. So what is happening right now, if those who are looking for to get into really heavy duty investment in real estate, there are a couple of things happening. Number of things are a lot of distressed sellers on the market. When we talk about distressed sellers, there is a different, can you guys hear me though?
Yes, we
Loud
can.
and clear. Only we cannot see your screen, but we can see you.
All right,
and
okay,
hear
that's
you.
fine. So what's happening right now as we speak, there are a lot of people who are distressed. They are unable to make the mortgage payments. Payments are way too high. A gentleman just called me in and he is in deep water. His first mortgage was at for 1.2 million at 2%. Now it's at 8.95%. His monthly payments are approximately 10,000 a month. And he is 3 months behind, called me in. His property may not be worth more than 1.3. So it's underwater property though. So what we plan to do is to negotiate with the lender and come up with something. And the chances are if the lender sell this property through the proper foreclosure or power sale, they're gonna lose a lot more money. So you as an investor have a upper hand. No offense to realtors or lawyers or anybody else. When people at this stage come to us and say, listen, can you help me out? The answer is yes, we can. By dealing with us, we can help them. Number one, they don't have to worry about too much legal fees and mortgage penalties and paying real estate fees and having 3 appraisals and putting on MLS and paying full commission, 3 to 6 month closing. All these things adds up the cost. So we look at the lender and say, listen, I am going to help you out, but what is it for me? The lender's first question is, I have to sell this property at the fair market value. And we say, uh-huh. And I said, do you know what FMV stand for? Yeah, most of the people would say FMV. Can you please put something in the chat if you can? I want to get a feedback from you. What FMV stand for most of you? FMV.
Fair market value.
Okay. Anybody else have a different definition for FMV? So I'm going to ask the same question to the superstars. Superstars are the people who are on a special program, and most of them have done deals across in different provinces. They have never seen the property, they never met the buyer or the seller, and they've done a bunch of deals together. The name of the game is all virtual, all different provinces. So FMV, please write it down, is called forced market value. And the lender said, what is that? What is that? I'm telling you, sir, you can sell me the property 30 to 40% below its market value, and I'll leave it with you. If you want to sell me the property at 30 to 40% below market value, you're going to take a loss, and your losses can be written against capital gain versus capital losses, depending exactly how you structure a business. Definitely, you're not going to take a loss on the deal. I'm going to minimize it, but I can educate you at the same time, and I will take most of your deals. How many of you are here tonight will be happy to buy a house at 35 to 40% below its market value? Anybody? And you have upper hand. They are calling you. So this is going to be happening all across Canada, and this winter, the 2023 is going to be a rude awakening for speculators, for people who are hoping the property value is going to go up, and they're hoping the mortgage is going to go higher and going to come down again to the same way we were 2% or 3%. I do believe that hopefully they're right, but I do believe that interest rates are going to stay more or less around 5% plus or around that area for a while to come. Property values will come down, but there is a good things ahead of us. We have a very strong demand. We do not have enough supply. So that may gonna refuel the market. They may gonna re-energize the market though. So that'll be the good part of it. And we are coming up with the new plans, which new plans are involved with co-ownership, fraction ownership with the current homeowners. If the current homeowners want to stay in the property and they have a lot of equity in it, but they may feel that they need to do something, there might be a solution we can offer, which can help us a great deal, which can help them a great deal, by the way. A couple of things I'd like to talk about quickly is this is a report recently came in. I mentioned earlier before, there are 31,000 brand new condos are scheduled to be completed in Toronto. And the average price of the condo will be $740,000. The problem is about 19,000 will be ready in the first half of the year. Approximately 10 to 25% of the buyers who put a deposit in may not qualify, or the property may not gonna appraise for what they paid for it. So this is going to become a bit of a nightmare for a number of people. The bankruptcies are up. Guess what's the most defaulting, what people are defaulting the most right now? Anybody like to guess? Apart from the mortgages?
Credit cards.
Credit card, line of credit.
Maintenance fee.
Keep going.
Car loan.
Sorry?
Cars.
Mortgage.
Yes. No, car loans. Car leases are 2% default, by the way. That's the highest default we have for after a long time. Repo depot is for taking people's car from the driveways from the work. And this is happening as we speak right now, though. Painful, but truth. But there's not much you can do. Number of sales have fell through. This is something happening in Vancouver. This is a little bit of legal matter. And does anybody understand the word contempt of injunction? Anybody understand it or no? Or breach of the contract or breach of the court? This is an interesting story happened in April 2022. It happened in BC. A homeowner got an order, hey, you're renting your illegal basement apartment and you need to stop it. And even though they got court order and the person continued renting it out, all he got slapped with a penalty of $6,000. And now they're saying if you're going to continue, we will further charge a penalty of $13,000. Now, here is my understanding of the law in Ontario. If you have an illegal basement apartment, the city has the right to fine you up to $50,000 if you are a owner. It's not a corporation. If you own a property under a corporation, the city can charge you a penalty of $100,000. So this breach of the court, when court have given order not to rent it out, you still continue renting it. This is the court order or contempt of injunction, though. So these things are continue going to happen. The homeowner has a motion in the court saying, sir, what am I supposed to do? End up in the street? I got a space. I got homeless people. And where do you go from here? And the judge still have to rule in favor of the law, saying this is not safe because of health, the fire, and it may not be healthy in case, and also for the insurance companies. So these things may gonna pop out from time to time, and we will see how the courts rule out these type of things, though. Here is something else about Toronto. Rents are going really up, but get what's the cheapest area in Toronto to rent? Anybody? Cheapest place to rent in Toronto?
Etobicoke?
Keep going further west.
Brampton.
You're right. The Brampton 1-bedroom you can rent for about $1,622, and compared to the same thing you're gonna rent, it'll be about $2,500 in Toronto for 1-bedroom. So again, those who are looking for cheap accommodation, Brampton is still a good choice, by the way. The affordability in Canada is gone beyond. And what you need to, if you want to buy a house in Toronto, Vancouver, I will only talk about it, you need about $220,000 gross income to qualify for even a mortgage. Even though Winnipeg and Edmonton are the cheapest one, where you can get away with $80,000 or less. Even in Hamilton, you need about $160,000, and Ottawa is about $130,000. Victoria is about $180,000. Yike. Average price is down, and this new GST and HST on assignments, this is going to come in force as of January 1st. There are a few gray areas where Jerry have mentioned to you what's going to happen to those areas, how we're going to deal with it. No idea how are they going to deal with it, though. So they have the law, which is going to be enforced as of January 1st, 2023. They have made some, I think, 8 or 9 exemptions these exemptions are if you bought a property, you sell it before 12 months, you are subject to a capital gain, unless otherwise you have a situation through a death, divorce, safety issues, illness, disability, relocation, employment, bankruptcy, or few other options. So these are going to be in place. So you will not be able to sell a house before 12 months. Otherwise, if it is your own principal residence. So those definitions of principal residence are changing, by the way. So just be aware of it. Non-Canadians cannot buy the house in Canada residential property for next 2 years. That'll be the new law as well as of January 1st, 2023. Now, there will be people who will try to become creative, utilize joint venture or blind trust and so on, and there is a penalty for it up to $10,000. Again, don't take my words for it. As I said, that this is information will pop out as we go along. But as of January 1st, 2023, non-Canadians are prohibited to buy a residential property in Canada. That will be the law as of January 1st. A couple of things. Some of you were able to attend real estate auctions in Toronto. Anybody like to give me feedback on it? Hello? Anybody like to who attended the
I can tell a few words. So what it's the most like common, it's people who's coming special for sheriff sale. They don't know what they getting in. So for example, they buying half of the property or 1/3 of the property with all the mortgage and stuff attached, also string attached. So it's really important to do proper due diligence.
Excellent. If I'm not mistaken, I'm going to get my screen back, by the way. You can see the screen. Oh, lovely. Beautiful. All right. Thank you so much. I finally figured it out, but hey, tonight is the night full of challenges. All right, these are some of the pictures taken in Milton, Ontario, as well as Brampton, Ontario. It's important that anybody who got a chance to attend this meeting should go, because you learn a lot more than otherwise. What you see is something you do not forget, though. I'd like to share a strategy with you. How many of you will be happy to learn a new strategy tonight? Okay, well, you can, let me see if I can see most of you. Anybody interested in learning a new strategy tonight?
Yes. Sure. Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, and does anybody understand the word buy the dip?
Yes.
No.
Okay, how the dip works is beautiful. Actually, it's funny that we made a few offers. Nothing went through except one, but it turned out to be reasonable. So how the buy the dip works? So you ask the realtor, hey, listen, find me every property on MLS, and this is my criteria, which has been listed in the market for more than 75 days, 65 days, 90 days, 120 days. Second thing, make sure the property is vacant. Okay. And number 3, if the property has been listed more than once or twice or 3 times. So there's a piece of property got sold recently in a very good neighborhood, which is built by Shane Beg High in Leslie and Finch area. In my opinion, that property is worth at least 2.5. It went for 1.6. Somebody just saved $900,000 by utilizing the dip strategy. So how the dip strategy works is the listing agent was contacted by the buyer, which will be your agent or realtor. He called them up. Hey, listen, I got a investor who want to buy your property, and he noticed that this property has been in the market for 120 days, it's sitting vacant, it's costing them. I don't see any multiple offers on it. Is your buyer is willing to see a low ball offer? It'll be pretty clean. I can make it only 5 days conditional or 10 days conditional, but they can close in 30 days. And you wait for the feedback from the listing agent. They talk to the seller, say, listen, I got a buyer. It may be going to throw a really low ball for, do you need to sell? If somebody who has a property in the winter times on MLS for more than 90 days, there's a big red flag. Hey, listen, I need to get rid of this property. I'm desperate. They're not going to say I'm desperate, but the telltale signs are telling you, hey, I'm desperate. And then if they say yes, bring it on. And I say, listen, I'm not even bother putting in a paper. They're asking 2.5. And they're looking at 45 to 50% discount. And be quiet. So listen, if you respond to me, I'll bother putting my autograph on offer. And to make the deal, sweetheart deal, I'll put extra $50,000 to $150,000 deposit. Guess what? It'll be non-refundable. No, that's a bully. A temptations. 50,000. I'm putting 150,000 deposit. That's what they see on the surface. But they don't say the deposit also have a structure that we'll be paying only 5,000 upon acceptance, another 50,000 after 25, 30 days, and we might be closing the deal earlier. The name of the game, what the motivated distressed seller want to see, a strong offer with big deposit, and there's music to their ear, that's not refundable. So make sure you know what you're doing. So if you're gonna save a 40%, 50% on a deal, you want to buy the dip, you need to show your strength. And on top of that, this particular deal I'm dealing with is also another fellow apprentice asked me not to disclose the name. I said, fine, thank you. He's flipping this deal for $2 million. So he's going to make about $400,000 out of thin air. He did not even put a single cent as deposit. And this property, the person who's buying it is going to keep it or resell it, hoping to sell for 2.7 or almost $3 million because it's a beautiful house. It's built by Shane Beghai. Shane Beghai is known as one of the most prestigious builder who used to build custom home for multi-millionaires. Shane Beghai is Iranian from Persia, came from UK I believe as engineer, came to Canada and started building ultra luxury houses, custom houses though. Yeah, his name sells. He also built some condos at Shepherd and Young, and he's building all across, I think, North America now. He's in San Francisco. He was specialized at one time only building custom-made homes only. Any questions on buying the dip? You can put assignment clause in it. You can put 90-day closing. There are so many distressed sellers, whether it's a brand new condo, whether you are doing it, and this can be extended into assignment as well. For those who bought a brand new condos, or townhouses, or single family homes, and they even want to take a cut what they paid for it. For example, we got a property here. Somebody bought a piece of property in Fergus. It is about 3,000 square feet. I do believe they paid 1.2 million, and they're willing to take 300,000 cut. They're willing to give it to you for 900,000 because they have other assets, and they have they are so much in a situation they prefer to lose 300,000 and walk away from the deal rather than breach of contract or default and not close the deal. So the opportunities are going to be endless. You have to become a lot more creative. I want to inform all of you that we have came up with a brand new apprenticeship program. It will not be 3 days. You complete in 3 to 6 months time. It's in a very slow pace. Those who have attended it, want to re-attend it, it'll be totally different phase. You take in a very small dosage, so that this way you're able to maintain and sustain, because sometimes the information is overload. Too much information, 3 days. We recently had evaluation done by a consulting company, and the report was very, very rude awakening for me, especially. They said, how dare you teach everything in 3 days? We can't, no, it's very hard to digest information. You keep throwing strategy after strategy. Every session, teach one strategy only. How many of you agree with that, that one strategy is good at one given time? Yeah. If I teach you 35 strategies or 40 strategies in 3 days, it got mingled. And you wonder, okay, which one should I be using it? On top of that, all these strategies require some sort of a modification depending on the situation, though. You may gonna come across where you may find, hey, this strategy need to be modified slightly. Recently, today was a great day for superstars. I believe they've been working on this deal almost for a year. Almost a year. It's about 25 pages long. Anybody, superstars, can confirm?
34.
34 pages long.
13 months.
Sorry?
13 months.
13 months, sorry, thank you. So it is a very complicated deal, very sophisticated deal. It is custom made. Every single word written in that offer is not regular words. And it has so many situations where we have to deal with courts from CRA to different authorities. And it's a very different set of balance you have to maintain and legalities to it. And these deals are very, like most of you will never see it. It's once in a lifetime for a lot of people. For those people who are superstars, for them, it's at least once or twice a year or 3 times a year. And these deals make you very sophisticated investors because you learn by doing it, not by reading it, not watching a video. When you really put yourself in the trenches and you're really running around getting 10 different signatures, trust me, ask these people, how do you get 10 signatures in front of a lawyers or whatever? How do you open up all this? It has become a task and then part of the due diligence. But again, all I'm just saying is buying the dip strategy or any strategy you're going to be utilizing it, it may not apply copy and paste. You might have to modify it though. So here's my challenge for you. Those who are interested to do by the dip strategy, or you're part of the apprenticeship, or you want to redo the apprenticeship, let us know. We'll see if we can accommodate you quickly enough. And you implement strategies, you may gonna find that it'll be a lot easier to understand because you have plenty of time in between to practice as well, though. Any questions so far? Yes, sir. Is it? Oh, I'm sorry. Any questions? No? Okay. Somebody asked, how about do in 3 days first and elaborate in months? No, sir, it doesn't work that way. Your brain got, there's so much you can take after that. It's very difficult. Even if you're in the business for many, many long years, it still become very difficult. Even those, the properties we acquire from time to time, each larger deals we acquire, all the superstars know now that it can take 1.5 years before we get them. Is that correct? Any superstars? I'm gonna give him feedback.
Yeah, that's correct.
Some of them didn't go through even after that time.
They got burned down. We were negotiating a deal, and we spent a good fortune of time and some money as well. This piece of property was located in Winnipeg. We are getting about 30 or 35 unit building for 300,000. And it is one of those challenging things. And while we are negotiating, the building got burned down. It burned for 3 or 4 days in the heart of downtown Winnipeg. And we worked so hard on it, but these things are how these things work. But these properties are not, I would say, open and available or to an understanding of an average realtor or average investor or even very sophisticated investors. They're different. Okay, moving forward. I'm gonna move to. And this is another thing you all have to be very careful with. Almost 20%, 25% Canadians default on the taxes. When you default on your any kind of taxes, whether it's income tax, whether it's HST if you happen to be small business, or any other form of taxes, we have 200 different type of taxes in Canada, by the way. We pay 80% of our income toward the taxes. When you owe money to CRA or any tax department, or it's called Crown, Her Majesty the Queen, Minister of Revenue, or Minister of Finance, they all come to the same name, or Her Majesty the Queen. When they put a lien on it under your name, this is the more trouble starts, by the way. They can garnish your wages, freeze your bank account, and sell every asset you own, including your principal residence, your personal car, your cottage, or anything which has a value. And that lien is called super lien. So those who do not know how to search your own lien, they should attend perhaps apprenticeship program or learn from the lawyers or ask them, hey, what is a super lien? If the lawyers do not know it, there's a possibility they may or may not know it. It's not rocket science, but it's very important for you as an investor. Here's a caution for all of you. If you are thinking to go with anybody as a business partner or any joint venture, you should check 3 things. Do they have any liens against them? Do they have any criminal record? And that can bog down everything, and also check their credit. And by doing so, you do the same thing for them. Say, listen, I'm going to give you full disclosure. I want you to give me full disclosure. Otherwise, you could get yourself in trouble not doing the proper due diligence of your partner, though. Extremely important for you to do that, no matter which way you look at it. If you want to avoid the trouble, you must do that, period. I'm going to get into some other stuff. Credit cards, people are turning into it. That's the easy way to withdraw money. But again, this is going to become a nightmare. Credit cards are not cheap. And this information comes from Stat Canada. And they're saying that people are utilizing more and more plastic. Just be aware of it. If you have to utilize credit card, it's okay, but make sure you do not use more than 60 or 50% of its capacity. Same thing with HELOC or line of credits. Please do not use more than 50% or 60%. It's going to take a toll if you utilize more than 61%, and you're making a hard time regaining your credit score, though. And it could hang in there for a long time to come. It becomes another nightmare for you. This is arrears, mortgage arrears all across Canada. This is the report from Canada Banker Association. And the number 1 province where we have the most is always Saskatchewan. When we talk about ratio-wise, then Alberta, and then rest come the other provinces. Atlantic provinces still have more defaults compared to Ontario. And Ontario is getting there now. All of a sudden, these reports are about 3 months behind or so. So we have the recent report is August 31st on December. So you will see in March or April, the report of December 2022. There are a lot of things that are going arrears, and what is happening with this one, the lenders, the second mortgagees, the first mortgages are taking a cut. They're losing some money. Some of them losing approximately about average about $68,000 to $70,000 when a homeowner defaults, plus all other expenses. So this number is going to go higher and higher because the property values are dropping. It's hard to afford a property with a higher interest rate, and the rents are not letting it in us as well, and that is going to create a problem. According to the recent report, 4% Canadian homeowners are going to be defaulting. And here come opportunity for us. We want to help all those Canadians to downsize. We have different strategies that we can acquire these properties. We can negotiate with these lenders. The word is called forced market value, not fair market value. So that's the word tonight for all of you, forced market value. So tonight I'm talking to one lender. This piece of property is located in Markham. And lender is saying, I'm going to do this, that. Said the guy have nothing to do. I mean, you're going to spend more money in the legalities, going to the court office, going to get a judgment lien. The guy going to file a bankruptcy, you're going to get nothing. You're wasting more money, and you're going to go more into debt. Finally, it sinked in. He called me in with this lawyer, chew my head for half an hour. It's the same thing. My conversation with them was 3 minutes long. Do you want to walk away with more losses or less losses? The more you delay, the more it's going to cost you. The market values are not going to go up in January, February, or March. And the next interest rate will be announced on January 25th, 2023. I do believe interest rates going to be announced tomorrow in US. They are hoping it may going to stabilize, but according to Canada, they want to take the prime rate above the inflation rate. So our prime rate is 6.45, inflation is about 7%. By January, we'll see how does it go. It may gonna go by 0.25% or half a point again. So we're looking at approximately 7% prime rate in January. Then it may gonna stay there for a while, and it may gonna adjust slightly, but it's not gonna come down to 2% ever. In my opinion, it'll hang around till 5. It may gonna come down slightly when the market go through recession. Again, these are the actions which are more or less all projections. We will all see. This is part of my opinion, though. This is where the most of the fortunes are made in this market. All the so-called experts are gone. Only a handful of people will stay. This is where you're going to make a good fortune. Here's my request for all of you and those who are brand new investors or who've been experienced investors. And here's the deal. If possible, if you're acquiring any property in this market, please do not get a mortgage financing from a bank or private lender. It should only come from the owner only. Vendor take back or owner financing. Talk them into having a 0% financing or balloon payment 5 years down the road. Because this is the only cycle or time, if you become creative enough, you don't have to do every deal. And you're going to have more deals coming to your table than what you can handle. So you want to stay afloat no matter what, even the property is sitting vacant. If you have to make some repairs to it. So that's important for you to become creative. That can help you quite a bit. HELOC, this is something very, very scary. People utilize HELOC not realizing it. You can miss one payment and you can lose everything what you got. HELOCs are more dangerous than power of sale or foreclosures, by the way. The lender can get a judgment against you and sell every asset you have under sale enforcement. So all of a sudden, a lender have more than one choice to go after you. So recently, we have witnessed in last month and a half or 2 months, we went to see some properties in Milton as well as in Brampton. So these properties were sold under the civil enforcement where people were defaulting either the credit card payments or HELOC payments, or they have some sort of other issues as well though. This is something those who are landlords in Ontario, and you can increase the rent for more than 2.5%. Again, these are applicable to those buildings which are built after 2018 are not covered by rent control. If it is built before, be aware of it. Make sure before you increase any rent, check with the local authorities if you're in a different province or so on. Check it out though. This is something I talk about: force sale value, force market value, force sale value. This was a situation. This is the court case. In case you want to get a copy of it, you're welcome to, or you can send me a request. I'll be more than happy to send it to you. And this is a very good negotiation tool, by the way, if you're dealing with a bunch of lenders and they're saying, oh, I'm going to do power sale or I'm going to do foreclosure, but I can lose more money. How can you help me? And then we throw this thing like that to them and they say, here's a court case. This is what you can show to your lawyer. If you're comfortable, we can proceed. Otherwise, hey, be a good friend. Maybe next deal we can help you with this one. Those things about 56 grants are still available for green home retrofit. I'm going to ask a question to anybody here. If there's anybody have utilized a heat pump to heat the house yourself in Windsor? If you can speak louder, please. Thank you, Teresa.
Yes. My parents' home out in the county, we had a heat pump. That was our heat source.
And when was it installed? Would you know?
15 years ago.
Would you know what the cost is?
Back then it was close to $7,000. It was very expensive back in the day.
Well, still very expensive, but I understand. Does anybody else have a heat pump in their properties? There's a government incentive available for heat pump. More or less the heat comes from the earth. And they dig the pipe very deep into your backside of the house or wherever they find it. These are some renovated grants available. By the way, there will be new grants coming in regardless, no matter what you look at it. We are going to have one more class for master class on December 27th. If you want to buy a ticket for somebody as a gift, you can give it to them. This is something where we teach how to find properties at a discount. That will be the last event for this year for us. Next year, the thing's going to change quite a bit, by the way, and it'll be done differently. So these are some of the pictures from the last eyewitness we had. The top right-hand picture is the one where we had this fellow who has been auctioning Canadian properties for last 57 years. 57 years. Is that a lot?
That's a long time.
Years. It's a long time. He had an issue with his hip. We saw him in Milton. We saw him all from time to time. I know of him for the last 40 years. And this guy's keep coming back. And it's very, very, I find it very, I enjoy it when he does what he does. He started with higher bids. He started with Dutch auction. Then he started from the rock bottom and go up. and he knows how to work the room very nicely. He says psychology, you should see the body language. It's amazing to see something in real life, how these auctioneers work, how do they understand the psyche of the buyer, and how they take people around. If you never have ever got a chance to attend a field training, I suggest all of you to attend it, especially you have to take a apprenticeship program to attend that. But it's something very beautiful, and it'll stay with you for the rest of your life though. At the right hand on the bottom side is the Oscar Hall, by the way. We have happened to be there a couple of times. This is a very privileged place to go. It's reserved for lawyers and judges only. So we got ourselves in a couple of times here. It's a history about Canadian law. I think this has been established since 1867 or earlier. It's a beautiful building right in the heart of downtown Toronto, beside the Supreme Court of Ontario, as a matter of fact. And some of the pictures in the red van, this is in Calgary court office, where we arrived in a nice red limo, by the way. Just thought I should just share with you. Anybody have any question tonight before we go into the apprenticeship program? Will be brand new, by the way, 2023. The old program is gone, no more 3 days. It is spread out over a period of 3 months, and you do it at your own pace. It's different. It is more energizing. We find that it will offer you much better value regardless, because it is a much smaller dose to understand and digest it though. Anybody have any questions so far? Before you invest, check before you invest.ca, check it out in case you're investing with other people. By the way, we will be conducting the meeting as we go along. That 2023 will be announced pretty shortly. You will come to know, and it will go on the website. Anybody have any questions, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, we can go in the break room for a few minutes only. Anybody have any questions? Okay, I'm going to open up the break rooms, by the way, for at least 5 to 7 minutes. Please feel free to talk to each other, establish a relationship, and see however you can connect with other people. All right, I'll see you shortly. Thank you.